Imagine being told as a child that you struggle with reading, focus, and traditional learning, and then growing up to become the face of some of the most iconic fantasy worlds ever put on screen. Imagine stepping into Hollywood not as a polished star, but as a risk and leaving behind characters that entire generations instantly recognize. This is the story of Orlando Bloom, an actor whose career was shaped as much by perseverance and reinvention as by sudden, world-changing success. Orlando Jonathan Blanchard Bloom was born on January 13, 1977, in Canterbury, England. His early life was far from glamorous. His parents were involved in the arts and education, and creativity was encouraged at home, but stability was not guaranteed. When Orlando was just 4 years old, his father figure, Harry Bloom, a South African anti-apartheid activist and writer, died suddenly. Years later, Orlando learned that his biological father was actually family friend Colin Stone, a revelation that added complexity to his understanding of identity and belonging. As a child, Bloom struggled academically. He was later diagnosed with dyslexia, which made reading and traditional schooling difficult. Teachers sometimes mistook his challenges for lack of effort. But where Bloom struggled with text, he excelled physically and creatively. He was drawn to art, movement, and performance, spaces where expression mattered more than precision. That pull toward performance eventually led him to acting. After school, Bloom moved to London and enrolled at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, one of the UK's most prestigious acting institutions. He trained rigorously, learning classical techniques, stage discipline, and voice control. It was demanding, humbling work, far removed from the glamour he would soon encounter. In 1999, just 2 days after graduating, Bloom landed the role that would change his life forever. He was cast as Legolas in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. At the time, Bloom was virtually unknown. Director Peter Jackson was assembling a massive ensemble cast for an ambitious adaptation many believed would fail. Bloom auditioned for several roles before landing Legolas, the ethereal elven archer. His physicality, quiet intensity, and distinctive presence set him apart. Then disaster struck, literally. During filming, Bloom suffered a serious accident when he fell from a horse, breaking his back. Doctors initially feared he might never walk again. But after surgery and months of rehabilitation, he returned to set, refusing to let the injury define his future. When The Fellowship of the Ring premiered in 2001, it became a cultural phenomenon. Bloom, almost overnight, was a global star. His portrayal of Legolas, elegant, deadly, and otherworldly, turned him into an icon of fantasy cinema. The trilogy went on to become one of the most successful film franchises in history, culminating in The Return of the King, winning 11 Academy Awards in 2004. Sudden fame can break careers. Bloom chose momentum. In 2003, he starred as Will Turner in Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. Paired with Johnny Depp and Keira Knightley, Bloom helped anchor the franchise's emotional core. Will Turner was earnest, idealistic, and human, a contrast to the eccentric Jack Sparrow. The film was a massive success, spawning multiple sequels and cementing Bloom as a leading man. At this point, Bloom wasn't just famous, he was one of the most recognizable actors in the world. And yet, something felt off. By the mid-2000s, Bloom found himself boxed into a specific image: the handsome hero, the swordsman, the fantasy heartthrob. Films like Troy and Kingdom of Heaven showcased his physical presence but received mixed critical responses. The pressure of constant blockbusters began to weigh on him. Rather than chase fame endlessly, Bloom stepped back. He returned to the stage, performing in classical theater and later making his Broadway debut in Romeo and Juliet in 2013. Theater demanded vulnerability and discipline, no edits, no safety net. It was a deliberate move to reconnect with the craft rather than the celebrity. Bloom also began to redefine himself off-screen. He became deeply involved in humanitarian work, particularly with UNICEF, where he has served as a Goodwill ambassador since 2009. He traveled to conflict zones and underserved communities, advocating for children's rights and education, a role he has consistently described as grounding and essential. Personally, Bloom's life evolved under intense public scrutiny. His relationships were widely reported, including his marriage to model Miranda Kerr, with whom he shares a son. The marriage ended amicably, and Bloom later spoke openly about growth, self-reflection, and emotional maturity. In the late 2010s, Bloom experienced a quiet but meaningful career resurgence. In 2019, he starred in Amazon's fantasy series Carnival Row, playing a morally conflicted detective in a dark, politically charged world. The role allowed Bloom to explore complexity, ambiguity, and emotional depth far from the flawless heroes of his early career. That same year, he reunited with the role of Legolas in the Hobbit trilogy, closing a chapter that had defined his youth. Bloom's public image also shifted. He spoke openly about mental health, meditation, and the importance of inner balance. He acknowledged periods of loneliness, insecurity, and identity confusion, particularly during his early fame. Rather than resisting these conversations, he embraced them. In 2019, Bloom became engaged to singer Katy Perry, and the couple welcomed a daughter in 2020. Fatherhood, Bloom has said, reshaped his priorities. Fame became secondary. Presence became primary. Today, Orlando Bloom occupies a unique space in Hollywood. He is not the loudest star, not the most prolific, but he is enduring. His career tells a quieter story than many blockbuster trajectories. It's a story about momentum, pause, and return, about choosing depth over noise, about learning when to step back and when to step forward again. Orlando Bloom didn't just play heroes who lived forever on screen. He learned how to survive fame itself and come out more grounded on the other side. From the dyslexic child in Canterbury to the elven archer who defined a generation, Bloom's journey reminds us that success isn't just about rising fast. Sometimes it's about knowing when to slow down and why. And in an industry obsessed with reinvention, Orlando Bloom's most impressive role may be the one he plays best today, himself.